So I've been shooting on the FX3 for roughly 2 years now. I pre-ordered it back whenever it first got announced. I was saving up for the A7S III at the time, and just as I was about to purchase one, this camera came out, which was perfect for my needs. So I've been making a living full-time off this camera for 6 months now, and this is the rig that I've been using, especially for my handheld rig. So let's go over it. I find that this particular setup is working really good for handheld shooting, and you can make some adjustments with this as well, and it's very modular too, whether you need audio or not, or whether you need wireless video, and different power solutions too for different accessories that you might be running. So let's go over the base of this whole kit, and then we'll get into some of the finer details. And boom, so I broke everything down so we can start from scratch and just really go over all the parts. I know it didn't seem like this much whenever you saw it on my shoulder, but there's a lot that goes involved to all of this, so let's get started. By the way guys, I have separate videos about a lot of this gear, like the matte box, the microphones, you know, the XLR handle, these different monitor mounts. Like, I have videos on like a lot of this stuff, so I'll leave links to all that down below, but this is a culmination of everything all together. So let's start off with the base of it all. I'm using the Sony FX3 here, but you can swap out this camera and, you know, make this rig for your own with whatever camera that you use. This is the Tilta cage design specifically for the Sony FX3, and now the FX30 shares the same body. I like this cage because it's modular, and it also has this hand strap, which I find really useful. You have NATO rails all over it, which you'll see where that comes in handy. So the very core of the whole rig is actually this cage and then the base plate that goes with it. This is the Tilta base plate for the FX3. So it just slides on here just like this. And now you have the rod support attachment all ready to go. These are the SMALLRIG carbon fiber rods. These are the 12-inch version. So we'll just slide these through the base plate and tighten those down. We'll have to adjust these in a bit when we see where everything is lining up. Let's pop on a lens. I'm just gonna pop on this Rokinon 85mm lens. I have a ton of lenses over there, but I haven't used this lens in a really long time, so why not bring it out for this? Plus it already has the little CINE gears on it, so that's one less thing we have to worry about by adding, you know, CINE gears onto the lens. If you do plan on using longer or heavier lenses, I recommend getting a lens support like I have this one from Nitzy that is pretty cost efficient, and it maybe not be the best looking option on the market, but it definitely serves its purpose and takes the stress off of the E-mount. All right, next component. This is a SMALLRIG shoulder pad. It's like a universal shoulder pad that has 15mm rod clamps, a cheese plate with tons and tons of options for mounting your different accessories. So let's go ahead and mount this on the back of the rig. And we can clamp that down. And I'm gonna leave a little bit of room here because our next component is going to be our Tilta V-mount battery plate. This is one of the cheapest ones that they have because the other ones have power adapters. This is just a dumb adapter, so it's just made of metal, and this is just great for attaching to the back of the rig and adding a little weight on the back. You can also put this 15mm rail clamp on the bottom and mount your batteries this way if you like, but for my balance of my rig, I like mounting it this way. All right, we are halfway there. Next up, we can add on our follow focus. This is the Tilta mini follow focus. I really like this design, and I think they have a newer version out now that looks a little bit different, but overall pretty much the same. And then you just line up the follow focus with your gear on your lens and remove this hood. So now we're gonna add on a clamp on matte box. So this just threads right onto the front of the lens, and then you clamp the matte box onto this adapter. So I'm using the Tilta Mirage matte box. I have the variable ND kit and a bunch of filters for this matte box, and I like using it on the gimbal, and it's really lightweight. It's great for handheld as well. Holds a lot of different filters and things that I need for different jobs. So I just pop that on there like that. Next, we're gonna be adding on some handles here And this is a combination of parts between SMALLRIG and Tilta. So how I got the handles connected to the 15mm rods is through this SMALLRIG area rosette to 15mm rod adapter. And then I have these Tilta extension arms on here, which makes it where the handles come off of this rod adapter. So you'll see it has these little ridges in the actual adapter here, and that connects right into this adapter on the rod clamp. And then this makes it where these handles are fully adjustable. Let's go ahead and get this top plate pulled off. So the great thing about this Tilta cage is you're able to remove this top plate and still use your audio handle for your digital audio interface. Now we have 4 channels of audio, and I did modify my handle actually. I have the SMALLRIG NATO rail that goes on top, and it also extends out the handle. So I have another video on this one too. And then I also added Velcro around the sides of this handle so you can stick things like a tentacle to it or something like that. Also, this actually cuts down on some of the noise that I've noticed from handling this microphone whenever you're shooting and using an onboard microphone. So just a little pro tip, Velcro on here has been helping with the sound. Of course, the microphone spacer, because most microphones don't really fit this Sony holder, so that'll go right there. For the microphone, whenever you're shooting handheld, I recommend a short shotgun microphone like this Deity S-Mic 2S. This is a short, powerful, water resistant microphone that you can use on here. Really nice sounding microphone as well. Of course, you will need a little rubber spacer, just like with most microphones that you'll use on this mount. It's just a little bit bigger mount than most other microphone companies use. The Sony microphones come with a rubber spacer on them a lot of times, but it works just the same in here with these little rubber spacers. Of course, an XLR cable for running power from the audio handle. Foam cover. All right, now we're ready to get into our monitor mount option, and this is the best monitor mount I've ever used. It is great for handheld. It can also go into the gimbal, so it's a NATO to NATO monitor mount. This is from SMALLRIG. It's about $120, but it's worth every penny. I've been using this for about a year now, so you can actually just screw it right onto the side of the cage here because it has a NATO rail built into the cage, and then it comes with the NATO rail that you can put on the bottom of your monitor, or if you have a cage like this SMALLRIG cage that I have on the Ninja 5, you can just slide your monitor straight onto the monitor mount and then clamp it down. And then the great thing about this monitor mount is that it's fully adjustable, so you're able to tilt your monitor, you can swivel, you can swing it out, you can actually adjust it anyway. Plus, it extends out really far, so whenever you're shooting handheld, you know, like the big issue is getting the monitor far enough out in front of you so you're not breaking your neck. Of course, I have this mat box on here so I could adjust this differently, but you're able to get it out in front of you is the point without having to like break your neck. I could even lower this down and have it down here if I wanted to, depending on how I rig it up. All right, so let's talk about a couple more things here. I use the SMALLRIG HDMI cables because they actually are able to transmit 4K 60, and you're able to record that on the Ninja if you want to. The great thing about this SMALLRIG cage is it also has a cable clamp here on the side, so you're able to really just lock that HDMI cable in, and you could even screw that down if you wanted to. So really nice and stable connection there. And then on the Tilta cage, you have a little Allen key that you can tighten and lock your cable in here too. So HDMI cable clamps on both ends here just means that you're not going to lose connection there, especially if you're recording on the Atomos. I don't know if you know this or not, but the Atomos monitors usually only take certain kinds of D-tap adapters to NPF. Usually you have to use the one that came with it and then plug a DC cable into that. But this cable from CINE is actually able to power this monitor from the D-tap. So here we go. I'll just swing it out your way so you can see. And there you go. This CINE D-tap to NPF battery charger actually works on Atomos monitors, so I like that. It's also coiled and it's just able to, you know, flex around the rig however I need it to. So if you need more power on this thing, you are able to add, you know, a D-tap splitter. Like I have one here that goes to 4 different D-taps, so you can power a wireless video or, you know, something else that you have here on the rig. So basically this rig changes in and out whether I'm using a wireless transmitter on here for audio or I need a wireless video transmitter for a director or something like that. But really versatile rig for shooting. It's pretty well balanced as well. It depends on, you know, kind of like how you have everything positioned on here. But if you use a big battery, you know, you have the weight on the back, and then you're able to just adjust your monitor however you need, and you can use it with any viewing angle. So I highly recommend checking out some of these pieces of gear. So if this video helped you out, be sure to hit the like button and leave me a comment if you have questions about anything at all on here. Shoot for the stars, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.